And number three is forcing careers on your children. Dear African parents, like I said, you cannot get everything you want in life. You see, I've heard of some African parents that wanted to be doctors or nurses, but they couldn't, so they had to get their children to be. So, and that's really what makes them to have to force it on their children, because it's really an end goal that they are bent on having by all means. Well, it is very, very toxic to try to control another human being's life, even to the point of career. You see, one thing African parents don't know is that this is another human being. I like the way my mom always talks about it. She says caretaker. They are just caretakers until the child can take care of himself. All right. So it is toxic to impose your own career choice on your child. And then number four is public shaming. Public shaming. Hey, you see, I was in a bus some time ago going to somewhere, and this African parent was telling everyone inside the bus how her child is so miserable, and how the child, who is a teenager by the way, is so bad. She literally even beat up the child, and they kept on shaming the child in front of everyone, probably for public sympathy. But what she didn't know is that she was just telling the world, look, the child I raised, look at the child I raised, look at the child I raised. In fact, I don't think the child was a teenager. I think that was probably 21. It was really bad. And I was like, and she was gaslighting the child and all whatnot. It turns out the issue that the child, she accused him of, we looked at it and the mother was actually at fault, but that's a story for another day. So the concept of shaming a child publicly, why? Why destroy the self-esteem of that child before the public? Why? I think your child deserves better if you're an African parent watching this. What do you want to achieve in public that you won't achieve indoors? Or do you actually want to crush the ego of that child? Anyway, number five is beating children. Why do we beat children in Africa? Why? The funny thing, I noticed that elite schools in Africa hardly beat, in fact, they don't beat children. They don't. Guess who beats children in schools? Low class and middle class schools, they beat children. And then the question is, do elite children spoil? Talking about spoiling, many of my siblings that attended Komande Secondary School, shout out to them, they know that, or they always say that some children there, when the soldiers flog them, it ends up, making them hardened. It doesn't mean that all the students there are bad. No, it just means that bad eggs will always be there will always be bad eggs, there will always be good eggs in every school. So, but that beating, that caning, it got them to become more hardened. And then I asked, what does beating do exactly? And so, if I get it, what you want to achieve is you want to teach that child that there are consequences to actions. You can achieve that without having to inflict physical damage